Joining us now on The Voice of Reason, America's photographer, Barry Morgenstein. Welcome to the show, and tell us about your career and the amazing photos you take on a regular basis. And with all transparency, I got my headshots you could see on my social media. That's the work of none other than Barry Morgenstein. So a pleasure to have you on the show, sir.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you finally. Good to be here.
And let's start with, talk about the background there of just where you are in your home studio. Some iconic photos there that just show your love for this country and the military service. I believe your family, a generational effort in defending this great nation of ours.
Yes, well, absolutely. Yeah, obviously, those are not photos that I've taken, but these are, as you know, I'm a big history and buff and a love of our country, a love of our military. And yeah, I guess behind me I have Major Dick Winters. Probably everybody knows from the Band of Brothers series, and he became a big hero of mine. I've read like 3 or 4 books on him. I found that autographed copy on eBay, which I hope it's real. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Next to him is I've always been fascinated by the Fighting Sullivan brothers, which everybody knows during World War II. Their story, the 5 brothers who were lost at sea in the Solomon Islands on the same ship. USS Juno went down, and the 5 brothers were together. They insisted on serving together, and unfortunately, they all perished together. So it was ever since then that siblings were not allowed to serve on the same ship in the Navy. So yeah, it's a great movie made about them, and I've always been fascinated by their story. I love World War II history and that time period in our country. So Greatest Generation. So yeah. Yeah, that explains that, and of course my Iwo Jima statue right here too. So I love American history, and I love the military. So.
How has that influence of American history and the military really, I guess, affected your work, your career? Because you capture moments for people that are very literally a time tested, if you will. It's literally an image in a moment, really grabbing someone's not only their personality, but also what they're trying to showcase in their line of work. And so how did those things really inspire your work?
Well, as you probably know, I started off as a rock and roll photographer, and I started photographing actors, which I still do some actors, but I kind of, my reputation now has been known. I'm the patriot, the go-to guy for the Patriots. So again, loving our Patriots, loving a conservative comment media. A lot of them come to me, and since I guess they're comfortable with me and I'm comfortable with them, I think I just know how to capture them. We just have a lot of mutual interest in loving the country and appreciating good things about the country. So yeah, that seems like my go-to now. I just get a lot. I mean, I still photograph a lot of different people, wide variety of actors, attorneys, real estate people, doctors, musicians. But it seems to be that I've just kind of created this thing where conservatives feel good coming to me, especially in New York City. I'm a kind of a rarity in New York, being the one conservative photographer in New York City. So I guess they know where to go, yeah, and they feel safe, comfortable.
Speak to us about that too, because we see so many artists they tend to be left of center, and I think right now it's thankfully for President Trump, for the MAGA movement. Many of us artists, I started my career as an actor, as you know. It's a lot. We could be more out and about it, because I'm sure over your career it wasn't like you were hitting pots and pans saying, "Hey, I believe in these things." It just was part of your life, and you still respected the other side because you were likely working with other people that had differing viewpoints, as I experienced over the course of my career. So how do you think it's for these conservative artists to now, in a sense, come out of the closet and not be afraid of actually being able to represent their values while still being able to work and not be canceled?
Well, yeah, definitely. As you said, now I think they do feel more comfortable. In my case, I have to say, maybe I wasn't too smart, or maybe I just had a big mouth, but I was always rattling those pots and pans, giving my opinions, even when it was unpopular or uncool to do such a thing. And yes, I had been canceled, but I was always shouting. It didn't stop me. I'm sure it affected my business. I'm sure I lost clients, but I was always proud to say, hey, I just love this country, and I love law enforcement. I love the military, and if somebody wants to cancel me for that, then what? I guess what can I do about that? That's just that's who I am, and I'm proud of my opinions. But yeah, like you said, I think now I think people are feeling more comfortable. So yeah, good for them. Because I know people that have been canceled and had troubles from the left, and I know I certainly have. So to this day, I still do. I still get canceled when people find out I'm a Trump supporter or patriot. So, but again, I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna always say I'm proud of who I am and what I believe. So
Well,
that's
I
that.
admire it so deeply because, we've seen where the only way that evil can really thrive in this world is if good men stay silent. And I think that one of the biggest
Exactly.
issues
Great quote.
highlighting that right now is what's happened to our dear Jewish community abroad from October 7th of 2023 to right here in the United States, whether it be Columbia or Harvard, these pristine academic institutions, I mean, really hallowed ground in the American movement of liberal education and liberal arts, the purest form of it, believing in freedom of speech and updating it from not only the 17th century when some of these places started opening their doors, but look at Berkeley. That was the center of the free speech movement way back in the 60s.
Right.
And now you have all this anti-Semitism happening. So how would you encourage those to remain strong regardless of what they're doing, whether they're artists or in their line of work, to make sure that their neighbors are not being discriminated against, and you're not seeing this perpetual racism that's been against the Jewish people for countless generations?
Well, as this Sunday is the anniversary of Butler, Pennsylvania, and as President Trump said, fight, fight, fight. Everybody's got to fight back against this. Got to fight back against anti-Semitism, against anti-Americanism. We can't have these terrorists on our campuses, which is what they are. They're terrorist sympathizers. If they're supporting Hamas and they're going against the good guys, Israel, I'm also outspoken about my support of Israel too. Always America first, but I support our greatest ally, and we work together. It's our best friend, and you always have to support good versus evil, and they just can't get away. I don't know how they've gotten away with it this far, and people shouldn't be afraid to go to school. You go back, and I wish I was a student. I always say, I wish I was on the campus. I wish one of these clowns would try to fight me if I'm wearing my IDF T-shirt or whatever, or a Star of David, whatever. Let them go at it, and we just need to fight back. They can't. They just can't. This is America. We can't let this never, like you said, in the '60s, Berkeley. Yeah, they were liberal, but as my friend Chris Plant says, he said they're not liberal anymore. They're the left.
Right.
There's a big difference. So they're Marxists. They're Marxists, and they're pro Hamas, pro Islamic terrorists. And this is America. We can't stand for that. So I just say fight. Don't be afraid to speak out against these clowns.
Well, as we say in the Voice of Reason too, it's people who are apolitical might just see Republican and Democrat, but it's more of a 4 or 5 way paradigm with the far left, the globalists, that sadly seemingly have taken over the current modern Democrat Party. But
Sure.
you have the Uniparty set up, the League of Shadows, whatever you want to call them. It's the neocon, neoliberal agenda of Washington, D.C., and those working as the Uniparty against We the People, MAGA, the populist movement that really is the heartbeat of America, middle class. And I can't tell you how many Democrat friends of mine are like, wow, I didn't believe in anything that the former vice president talked about in 2024, so I had to vote for President Trump as a result. So it's nice to break bread there. And I'm just so excited to have you on for our artist series here on the Voice of Reason, because you have an upcoming book, a coffee table book, coming out this October, and it's really showcasing all of your work, and it's rock and soul. So you're going back to the beginnings of your career and some of the really amazing photos you took of some iconic Americans.
Yeah, I'm excited. People have been, at the beginning of my career, like I said, I was a rock and roll photographer. I would be hired by record companies, magazines, go to Madison Square Garden and shoot concerts. And so I've accumulated quite a library of slides and negatives, which I've been scanning to digital recently for the book. People have been after me for years, saying, you got to do a book, you got to do a book. And I'm like, nah, nobody cares about my book. It's like, but finally people talked me into it. My wife has been very supportive, and I'm with Ballast Books, who's actually a great publishing company. They do a lot of patriots. Actually, they're known for doing a lot of patriotic military people too, heroes. So I'm happy to be with them. The book is coming out. I'm really excited. It's called Rock and Soul: Portraits by Baron Morgenstein. So it's a nice history of a lot of my music, and I call it rock and soul. I was thinking calling it rock and roll. That's my first love, but there's so much type of music involved in it. There's like rock and obviously soul music. There's like a lot of R&B. There's blues. I have jazz artists, reggae, pop artists too. So hopefully, it's actually they're doing pre-sales now on the website of Ballas, but it's officially out in October. So yeah, we're pretty excited and really looking forward to it.
I can't wait to have it
And just
on.
as my wife says, having my legacy, in a book so people can really see it. So
Oh, yes, absolutely. And your beautiful wife, Shelley, such a great support when you go out there and do the headshots, because I've experienced it. It's literally a party. And some people, they go so nervous into their headshots, like it's life or death. But
right.
you make it such an enjoyable environment with you and yours. So break down kind of your, not only your passion for it, but really your philosophy behind headshots and how you try to capture these important moments that could be really a make or break for people's careers, or even just finding that special time in their lives where they can look back and say, wow, Barry Morgenstein caught what I was trying to emulate in the brilliance of a photo, so I can have this lasting impression on generations to come.
Yeah, I guess I think people feel comfortable with me because we like to make it a laid back atmosphere. As you know, we have music playing. We have my great team, which I couldn't do without my team, my makeup artists, my assistants, whoever is helping me out. It's just we just have a great time. I've always heard of people's experience going to photographers, and they say, "Well, photographer wasn't that friendly. He had an attitude." I was like, you're a photographer. You don't need to have an attitude. Just be. You're supposed to make the client feel comfortable, and we just, like you said, we have a good time, and I think that's it. And when we talk to clients, and I just talk about whether they're actors. I'll ask about their career, who's their favorite actor, who's their favorite, what's their favorite movie. I love old classic movies, so I'm very interested in that too. And if they're patriots or whatever, we have a lot to talk about. So I think it's just more just about having a good time, like you said, and just hanging out. We just hang out, get them, when they're getting ready in the makeup chair. My makeup artists are great. They're talking to them. They get ready for me, and then by the time they get in my chair, I think they're pretty relaxed and we just have a good time.
Approachable and friendly. There's no question about it. Worked with many photographers over my career, and you have been the top notch. There's no question about it, because you do feel that right away. So I give my total and complete endorsement, as President Trump would say, among other candidates that are out there, especially with the midterms coming up. But what I also like is you bring a humble and modest nature to it. And I'm actually looking right now at just some iconic photos you've taken. Megyn Kelly, for example, beautiful and smart as always. The one you took of Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and President Trump, that's really iconic. Can you tell us the background on that story? Because I believe that was from the first term.
Exactly. Yeah. That's I guess, the photo I'm most proud of. Proud of a lot of my photos, but that one, if I had to pick one favorite, that may be it, because it's two of my heroes. To me, like great Churchill type leaders in the world. I was called. This was actually 6 months before the 2016 election, and I got a call from one of Trump's attorneys, or I think it was even a Facebook message, say, "Hey, can you come to Trump Tower tomorrow?" I think I was a Saturday, and it said Sunday morning at 7 a.m. We need a photo. I have a very special guest coming to meet Donald Trump at the time before he was president. And I'm saying, yeah, I'll be there. I'll get up early for that. But we didn't know who it was, and they didn't even know who it was. So it was literally, so I show up to Trump Tower, and it was in the residence, and we're waiting. And finally, it was maybe 5 minutes before he arrived, and they said, "Oh, it's going to be Benjamin Netanyahu." And I was like, so I'm trying to contain my composure. I'm like, "Oh, that's great," So it's like, and they said basically, think it's going to be the first official meeting. And I had 5 minutes, maybe even less. They're going to have a meeting to start shooting. You have 5 minutes to capture it. So I snapped away. I think it was even 2 minutes. It seemed so quick. So I just snapped away, and I was lucky enough to just capture that. I think it's kind of a historic image because it was their first image, first meeting. And I just think it's a great shot of them capture in an intense moment discussing. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but just to be there was amazing. And I'm lucky I captured that. So
truly life captured in a moment with two extraordinary leaders. And I like how you put it, Barry, Churchillian, if you will, very much like the leadership of the great UK Prime Minister from World War II. And then as I go through even more, not only great news anchors, but great war heroes and modern warriors, including Chris Tanto Paronto. Really, I think that the image, it's almost a Rembrandt image of just showing his grit, his masculinity, his bravery. have a fun story I told you off air that I was going to share. Back in 2016, I'm at a wedding of a friend of mine who was literally a real life Top Gun who went more of the intelligence direction as a naval pilot. And I still have not seen him since that wedding in 2016. He technically, it's not even worth sharing his name because he doesn't exist. He actually told us, brought the groomsmen together and just said, you guys won't see me. I met the love of my life in the Navy, and we're going to lay low for a while, just per the American government. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, what can we do? Well, just keep saying prayers and I will find you. And I've tried with different cell phones to addresses. Everything gets returned, and I miss my friend. So if he is watching, I miss you, buddy. Let's come back together. Yeah, but I bring this up because we're in Katy, Texas, really a small town outside of Houston, about 45 miles, but home of Renee Zellweger and some other big names that have shaped American culture. Well, I'm in the gym working out, and that's why I tell everyone, when you're on the road, go into the gym, because none other than Chris Tanto Paranto is in there while doing tours of the college campuses, telling the story of Benghazi, and I couldn't believe it. And I'll send you the selfie at some point today, just to show you what we did, because we're both like, it's just like hot and sweaty, just to our workouts. I'm like, I know that voice. And I look behind me, I'm like, my God, it's Tanto. So, I mean, what a great guy, very relatable. And in that moment, it was before my time in the media, just asked him, tell me what happened. And not to speak for the gentleman, but he said a certain administration did not want them to get out of Benghazi. And it really made me open my eyes and ears. So that photo was just very captivating.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, he was, well, as you probably know, and I always find heroes like that, they're always the most humble. That's that's why I love, I always call him a hero, which he doesn't like to be called that, but I always say, well, it's too bad you're a hero.
Exactly.
So, but they're just so humble. It's like, and he's the nicest guy, funny, and my first photo shoot I did with him was with the 3 Benghazi guys. Before that, when they were, I think the book was about to come out. The film hadn't come out yet. It was the book. So I did a publicity photo of the 3 of them, became instant friends with all of them, but became very close with Chris, and we've just been in touch ever since. And just honored to have clients and good friends like that. So yeah, but I appreciate the comments on the photo. So yeah,
And with the, to kind of segue a bit as well, lifelong New Yorker, it's the Big Apple. It's such a beautiful city to visit. I love visiting New York City on a regular basis. The last time, the Madison Square Garden, where you have taken pictures of some of the best and brightest stars over the course of your career, but a really interesting mayoral race. Would love your take on that and what you see in the future, because we've had quasi-socialists, we've had socialists, but to have this outright communist who wants to take over markets that are actually very cost-effective for people to eat and get their groceries from, especially in New York City, he wants government to take over everything. And it seems to be just mind-boggling as we go into this brave new era of people who want to attack the MAGA populist agenda. Well,
yeah, those of us who, well, he's a communist / Islamist. So he's pro-Hamas, which is even worse. That's as bad as you can get. That shouldn't be happening in America. It's like so those of us who have a business in New York, we're very, very concerned about it, and I'm doing anything I can to not have him not get elected. I'm pushing for Curtis Lewa myself. So I think he's the only way that we can save the city. But this guy is bad news. He's scary. But the fact that he won the primary, that's just, again, almost 25 years after 9/11. And this is who we may be putting in the office of mayor of New York City, the guy who's clearly a Jew hater, supports Hamas, and a communist.
And especially after
you can't make it up.
Right. So
it's like out of a movie.
Oh, it really is. So soon after the legacy of the great America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. So we'll stay on that race here at Right Side Broadcasting Network and the Voice of Reason. Barry, where can we find all of your work? Where can people sign up to get your great headshots? And you travel as well, because I got my headshots all the way down in the free Sunshine State of Florida.
Yes.
And that was a fun time with you and so many great people that day.
Thank you. Well, yeah, maybe I'll be in Jupiter full time if this guy gets elected. But yeah, so I travel. Yeah, I travel. That was the first time in Jupiter. I like to go back and do that. I travel to the D.C., Virginia area for a weekend of headshots twice a year. I'll be there, Alexandria, 23rd, 24th, August 23rd, 24th. Sorry, for a weekend of headshots. So we go there. I travel. Nashville, I used to go. I'm trying to get back there. My studio's in New York City. I'm there all the time. You can just Google my name. I'm easy to find. I'm on social media. I have a big presence on Facebook, Instagram, always posting my photos. My website's barrymorgenstein.com. Yeah, and if they want to check out the rock and roll book, it's on Ballast Books website too. Again, not official till October, but it's pre-sales. So yeah, I'm easy to find. Just Google my name.
America's photographer, Barry Morgenstein. Thank you for joining us on the Voice of Reason for our Artist Series.
Thank you, my friend.
And I hope to see you in the near future.
I look forward to it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's been great.